Hello roamers, I'm going for another rare item today, and no, it's not Shiny Candlestick, even though I'm in the lowlands. It actually is tied to an event, of course. So this event's pretty similar to the Magic Woods event I did a video on about a year ago. Except this one isn't overpowered, it's actually really terrible for loot. These snakes can spawn from anything that you kill, including the snakes. They spawn infinitely in Snake Pit. They have incredibly rare drops that we're going for. Well, one incredibly rare drop. So we're going to be here in the Snake Pit until I find that rare drop. We can also clear the Snake Pit itself for probably more loot than we'll get from the white snakes themselves. They can also drop a dungeon, one of the event dungeons, White Snake Invasion 1. That has snakes in it that can probably drop the item we're looking for, but these spawn infinitely, so we're just going to stay here. I should probably explain the item we're going for. It's a Serpentine Memory Orb 1. This is Serpentine Memory Orb 4. It drops from the White Snake Invasion 3 dungeon. That's a whole other thing I can talk about later, probably, since we're going to be here a while. But there's 4 in total. 4 drops from Invasion 3, 3 drops from Invasion 2, 2 drops from Invasion 1, and then 1 drops from these things. So you'd think it'd be the most common, but for some reason they made it ridiculously rare. I've seen one person get it, and of course they've gotten it twice, but I haven't seen anyone else get it. I haven't gotten it. I farmed for it a good amount. There's the White Snake Invasion 1. I can find the invasions later. The Snake Pit event ends in like 6 hours, and then it's going to be really annoying to farm for the Memory Orb 1 with how rare it is. In terms of useful drops, there is actually this Divine Snake Oil. It's better healing Ichor, but you can use it while you're at max HP, so you'll probably just end up using them by accident. Plus, they're way harder to get. This is a normal dungeon mod you can find on just any dungeon, but it's not common. And they're exclusive to these White Snake enemies as well. You can get it from the White Snake invasions too, but those are an event dungeon, and they'll probably go away after the event. The other 2 invasions, I guess I can talk about those since we've got so much free time until I get this drop. 2, you access in the realm. Every once in a while, a shrine that spawns in the Carboniferous will spawn some big snakes at it. You take out those big snakes, you get Invasion 2. And then to get Invasion 3, you go to the altar that the snakes were at. You use a stack of 10 of these things, and then you get Snake Invasion 3 sometimes. It doesn't work all the time. Snake Invasion 2 and 3 can also drop Exaltations. Snake Invasion 1 can't. And it's a pretty powerful event. It was overpowered for the first couple days. You had guaranteed Exaltations from both of those. But that's nerfed now. It's still really powerful if you can complete the dungeon. None of that matters. We're here for whatever these things drop, which is nothing so far. I've cleared this entire Snake Pit, and I haven't gotten even a stat potion. I got a few Snake Invasion 1s. We can take out the boss. There's a chest event. Maybe we'll get something cool from that. Or I could just leave the chest alive. We'll come back for you later. So my gameplay loop's just going to be running around, clearing the snakes infinitely, getting Divine Snake Oils infinitely, not getting stat potions because they're really rare, and especially not getting the Serpentine Memory Orb 1. I am on Sorcerer because aside from the clearing bonuses, I have the Exaltations for the drop rate boost. It's not a common drop, but 20% more chance. I'll take that. I brought a Clover as well. I didn't notice I brought a Clover till just now. That was just on this character. I guess I can use it and then we can see when we've been here for 20 minutes. Sure, why not? Lucky Clover has been used. So we got a timer. Can we get the drop before the 20 minutes passes of the Clover? There's another Invasion 1. They are kind of rare. Oh, there's our first stat potion. Maybe the loot boost does help. I definitely wouldn't try to max a character in just one Snake Pit. Even if you started as soon as the server reset, I don't think you'd have enough time. Plus it'd take forever. Like, I'm just doing this. This is the whole experience. I could just sit in this room and just do this the whole time. Not even press movement keys. Though these snakes, weirdly enough, they do a percentage of your health in addition to their regular damage. So it scales with your max HP if I let some hit me. You know, they do 33s and then they switch down to 32s. It's kind of hard to see since I have so much damage with my pet. Oh, I went down to 31 there, you can see. Future enemies are probably going to use that in in-game dungeons, and then it'll be a whole pain to know how much damage stuff does. Look how much damage they're dealing to me. Of course, it went down to 29 there because my health got so low. The Snake Invasion 3 dungeon also has huge projectiles, so that's going to be scary. We don't have to worry about that for now with the mini snakes. There's another Snake Invasion 1. I haven't been counting how many I've gotten. It probably isn't worth counting. Maybe I will, though. That'd be a lot more work for editing, but it'd keep things interesting. I'd have something to keep me sane during this long grind. Or I get it immediately, and then I'd feel like an idiot. I swear, I farmed this for like half an hour earlier and I didn't get it. It's not even a useful item. If we look at the Orb 4, it's a lore item and will serve no gameplay purpose. All 4 of them are like that. This is a lore item. Most people won't even care. It doesn't do anything at all right now. You have to save it for later to get the lore. So it really has no right being as rare as it is. Another Snake Invasion 1. I'll say something every time a Snake Invasion 1 drops to make the editing for the video easier. I can just skip to whenever I say something, and it's probably a Snake Invasion 1 drop. Because when would I talk when there's not a Snake Invasion 1? There isn't really much to say, unless I go explaining the entirety of the event. Yeah, sure, let's do that. That's a dumb event anyways. Well, not dumb, it's just a little bigger scope than I'd expect for a Lunar New Year event. So usually the Lunar New Year events are a pretty small thing. There's a Zodiac pet skin, and then maybe some events themed around the Zodiac. This year's the year of the snake, obviously, so there's a bunch of snake events. But like, for example, last year was the year of the dragon. You farmed some dragon-themed items and pet skins. That was the whole event. It was in Lair of Draconis. But it only lasted 6 days for some reason. This one's 2 weeks. We're at the tail end of week 1 right now. I never got the Zodiac Dragon pet from last year since it was only 6 days, and I just kind of assumed it was going to be 7. But it wasn't, and then I didn't get the snake pit. Or I didn't run enough dungeons to get the Zodiac Dragon. This year, there isn't even a Zodiac pet skin. There's no Zodiac snake. There's like 10 other snake pets, including 8 colors of this one. Right now I'm using the yellow serpent. Oh, Realm Close. Thanks, Oryx. I'm using the yellow serpent. There's also 7 more colors of serpent. You have the white serpent, of course. Then you have a red, orange, green, blue, purple, and violet one. Then there's just one silver serpent pet for the White Snake Invasion 3. And then a shiny version of the silver serpent, the gold serpent, because we have shiny pet skins now. Regular shiny items weren't enough. We had to make a chase variant of the already chase item pet skins. Oh, that this year, I didn't even talk about this year's event. I said I was going to. There's 3 Snake Invasion dungeons. I already mentioned that. I already mentioned how to get them. Well, the Snake Invasion 2 is a buffed version of Mountain Temple's boss fight. The Snake Invasion 1 is a buffed version of Haunted Cemetery with snakes, of course. And then Invasion 3 is an entirely unique boss fight featuring giant projectiles. It's pretty similar to Crystal Worm Mother, though, weirdly enough. There's a lot more chasing. You just kind of do the same thing for the whole fight, dragging in circles, dodge the big shots. A lot of people have been struggling with it. I don't have too much trouble, but most people can't do it at all, and so they kind of just stopped caring once they nerfed the exaltation rates from it. Which is a shame, because it's still pretty good for exaltations. You'll get 1 on average. There's another White Snake Invasion 1. And the dungeon itself is fine. A common complaint people have been having is that the projectile speed on the big projectiles is just way too fast for them to properly comprehend. That's reasonable enough, but it is an in-game dungeon, and aside from the fast projectiles, there's really not much to worry about in there. There is also Eden's Embrace. That's the new best in slot ring. It's very powerful. You get it from the quests, but also it drops from the Invasion 3 at a ridiculously low rate. It's so rare. Probably, maybe even rarer than the Serpentine Orb 4 or 1. The Serpentine Orb 1. But I don't care about farming for that, because it's in an event quest. It's not a rare item. I got one for running snake pits. It's a kind of crazy powerful ring. It gives a bunch of stats, 10 speed, 10 defense, 100 HP, 100 MP. That's another weird thing. The memory orbs drop in golden bags. Usually lore is reserved for purple bags, like these ones. Whereas a golden bag is good, because that means I'll actually notice it when it happens. I guess these aren't technically lore items yet. They're items that do literally nothing and will become lore later. Aside from the Eden's Embrace being really strong, oh, there's the chest, I forgot about that. And the dungeon getting nerfed after 2 days with the ridiculously high exaltation rates. They are ridiculously high, though. In those 2 days before they nerfed the exaltation rates, I almost fully exalted a class that I had no exaltations on. And even now, you run it, and more often than not, you'll get an exaltation. And that can be any exaltation, including attack exaltations, which are hard to get. I said any. It can't be life or mana, but everyone knows how to do Remnant of the Void and Oryx 3 during the pre-runes events. Unless you're bad at Celestial, but there are Celestial guides out there. Once you learn Celestial, you can leech that whole fight. It's not even difficult. Well, it is difficult, but not if you leech the whole fight. Now, I was kind of hoping I'd get it by now. We're 12 minutes into the Clover, and I haven't. I guess I did say it was rare, and if I got it in less than half an hour, it wouldn't be impressively rare. It looked pretty common, actually. But you have to remember, this is Snakebit. I'm getting so many of these. If you were doing any other event dungeon, you wouldn't have nearly as many spawns to get it, and it'd still be just as rare, because I don't think there's different rates per dungeon. And Snake Pit event ends in 6 hours, and will be long over by the time I upload this, probably. Oh, there's the pets in the event, actually. The pets, I mentioned there's 8 colors of this snake before, the serpent pets. There's no reason for there to be 8 colors of serpent pets. You don't get them in any interesting way. You just farm the tokens, and then for 4 tokens, 4 stacks of tokens. These tokens, the tokens that you use to open Serpentine Dungeon 3, you can get one of the pets. And so it's 4 stacks for 1 pet, 6 stacks for the big silver serpent pet. Why are there 8 of them? There didn't need to be 8, especially since they're all obtained the same way. We have missions now. Missions, there are White Snake Invasion missions. I don't have access to them because I'm not seasonal, I guess, but they do exist. There's White Snake Invasion missions, specifically missions for the White Snake Invasion 3 dungeon. They didn't put any of the serpentines in those. You only get them from the quest. Why did they do it like that? Why are there so many? It's a 2-week event. What 2-week event has 10 pet skins to get? I complain about something that people actually care about, but I don't care about the things people actually care about, so why would I? This event has 10 pets, and that's a problem. For the first couple days of the event, same as all the other problems, there was a repeatable quest for the serpentine pet skins, because you just do the same one 8 times to get the 8 pets, but they gave 42 crystals of fortune each, so if you farmed that quest, you could just pick the same color every time. That's kind of fun. Another crystal of fortune farm. This is basically the April event from last year that I did the video about. There's a Snake Invasion one again. This event isn't as good for crystals as that one was. You just got so many skins for doing ancient ruins, and Deca barely even nerfed it. Well, they nerfed it a whole lot over time, but never enough for it to not be ridiculously overpowered and make Crystals of Fortune feel kinda useless. Of course, Crystals of Fortune have never been very consistent in value. They'll give away 5 for doing a million dungeons one event, and then they'll just pour them into your vault for another. It's basically just this event and then that April event from last year that made them ridiculously common, but there's some where they were decently easy to get if you farmed the event. A back to school event, I think it was in 2022? Maybe it was 2023. You could get Crystals of Fortune from a chest, and it was not too rare, but it was still kind of rare. Plus, you had to farm Puppet Master's Theater, and who wants to do that? I was in a Puppet Master's Theater once, about a year ago actually, for the Mardi Gras 2024 event. It dropped the White Bag Chan Priestess skin. I already had it, so I put it in my pet saddlebag, my trusty pet saddlebag. And then a season later, my pet saddlebag got wiped by a bug with the pet saddlebag, I guess, my seasonal one. Replaced my regular one. So I messaged support trying to get it back because, you know, I like those items. I had some other stuff in there too. A strawberry milkshake, a crab generator. No, it was a squid generator from the Glover fishing in the realm. And that white bag Shan skin. Support only gave me back the chocolate milkshake though. I never got the generator for the squid or the white bag Shan. They told me that it didn't drop from the Mardi Gras 2024 event, and that's not fair. It totally did. I tried to supply evidence and whatnot. They didn't do it, which is a shame. I get why they don't do that, though, because people love to lie to support teams to get free stuff, and that's not cool. And they didn't give me back the squid generator, because I don't think they know what it is. I'm not even sure what to call it. It was really hard to explain. I do miss it, though. It was pretty useless. It just spawns a little snake that... Not a snake. I'm snake brain rotted. It spawned a squid that just follows you around until you change maps. So you put it in your saddlebag and then you just use it to have a squid that follows you around. It did absolutely nothing. It's just a fun vanity item, like the Valentine generator. That one's tradable and has been in the game forever. There's also a crab and a frog one that you can get from fishing. I never had either of those though, because the realm fishing kind of just died out after a couple weeks and then nobody wants to do it anymore except the occasional random person who does it and has to do it alone because nobody else wants to do it. That's what this event has been like, actually. For the first couple days, everyone was doing it because it was overpowered, and so you'd have these constant chains of White Snake Invasion 3, and then in US East or whatever, you'd have White Snake Invasion 3s happening regularly as well. Then they nerfed it, and now nobody runs it anymore. And while that's partially because it's not as powerful, I think the main reason just people got burnt out on running it. Plus, US East can't do it as easily as organized groups since there isn't as much healing you can do in the dungeon anymore. They did make the dungeon more difficult with the nerfs. And so you can't really do it in an unorganized group if you don't already know what you're doing since there's tons of quiet. Priests can't save you from mistakes. But for the organized groups, they just farmed too many of them in the first 2 days, so they got all the quests done. Now that it's nerfed and not as strong, why are you even doing it? You can just do a hard mode shatters or something. I do still think that Snake Invasion 3 is worth learning if you don't know it, even if you don't Oh, the clover ran out. Oh well. I think the Snake Invasion 3 is worth learning, because if they're gonna add a new thing to drop Eden's Embrace, it's probably gonna have big projectiles and the relative sheer HP projectiles and stuff. At least that's my guess. Maybe it won't even be content. Maybe they'll just be like a random guy that shows up and says, here's a Eden's Embrace. White Snake Invasion 1. The tally goes up. It's probably like close to 30 something at this point. We're 30 minutes into this, more or less. Oh, almost exactly 30 minutes into this. I'm so good at reading time. I'd like to remind everyone that I have a 20% loot boost from Exaltations, 25% loot boost from Exaltations, and I had 50% loot boost from the Clover for the past 20 minutes. And I've been here for 30 minutes and still haven't gotten it. And it's a lore item that has no gameplay purpose. And there's another Snake Invasion 1. I guess it has only been 30 minutes. This is an MMO game. Grinds are supposed to be heavy. But lore, for a 2-week event, it doesn't even do anything right now. And it'll barely do anything once it does do something. And this is the most efficient way to do it that will be going away in 6 hours, 5 hours at this point. I think it's reasonable enough to expect to have gotten it by now. It's not like a shiny Kinder or anything. It's not like it was specifically designed to be an incredibly rare drop. This is supposed to be something that you reasonably get if you care enough to go out of your way for it. I guess since this is how you get the Snake Invasion ones, you wouldn't have to go out of your way for it if it wasn't more common. There's our second stat potion. It's a dexterity. 30 minutes for 2 stat potions while doing no work whatsoever. Is that worth it? You could just merch in the trading server like they did in the old days. I actually got recommended a video on YouTube of someone merching in 2025. The more I farm this, the more I doubt it even drops. Like, the only reason I know you can get it is because I saw someone else get it, and I never saw them get it. They just told me that it dropped from these things. So they could have just been lying to me, and then I'm stuck here doing a meaningless task. But what in Realm isn't a meaningless task? I considered making a video about the portals that spawn during the Oryx Mania event. Not Oryx Mania, during the Oryxmas event a month or two ago, where they just teleport you to the boss, and I was gonna walk through the portals infinitely forever just because I can. There's a double. I called one of them on accident because it's really easy to call stuff on accident. You click on something and it gets called if there's nobody in it. I thought it was supposed to be a control click. I remember when the feature was added, they said it was control click. It was never control click. You could always just click on the dungeon to call it, and then it doesn't work if somebody's inside, but the game doesn't tell you that it doesn't work if somebody's inside. It just doesn't work. Okay, how about this? Once an hour has passed, we'll break the chest, just to have something to look forward to. That's still 20 minutes away. I could just give up eventually and accept that I don't get it, but unlike with the Constellation of Draconis, or the whatever else I've hunted for, the Woodland Sky Splitter Stone, this is a limited time event item, and also a limited time event item that I don't have, so I do actually want to get it. Funny thing about the Constellation of Draconis thing, though, actually, I stopped looking for Craigs after making that video, and then like a month later I randomly found one, and I got it on the first try. I got the Constellation of Draconis in one attempt. I've killed so many of them, and I haven't even gotten an Invasion 1. I heard a bag. Was it the bag? Probably not. It was probably just a whatever it's called, the Divine Snake Oil. I guess I could use these and get potions drunk. How many potions drunk do I have currently? Potions drunk, 677. Okay, so I can go for the Potion Sage Fame bonus. The Potion Sage Fame bonus is 1,000 potions drunk. It's a pretty useless fame bonus, but it has a funny name, and I wish they'd make a title for it, because they made titles for a bunch of the other fame bonuses. Now, my question is, does this update before I switch maps? No. So I won't know how many potions I've drunk until I leave this snake pit. That's another thing we can count, in addition to the invasion drops, which I might not even count. That's going to be so much work to do in post. Not like I already don't put more work than I reasonably should into a gameplay video. They are just gameplay videos after all, but I like to put images and stuff for context when I'm talking about some random thing that nobody except me knows about. I don't think I counted either of these ones, so I'm gonna add 2 to the tally that I'm not doing. Oh, I called it. This calling system, it kind of annoys me. I wish it would just be a control click. There's another Snake Invasion 1, because there's so many times where I will be entering a dungeon, and then I'll click it as I'm entering it, Snake Invasion 1. And so I'll call it and immediately enter, and that's just like the rudest thing you can possibly do in a realm, is call a dungeon and then immediately enter. And so I feel so bad every time it happens. But like, what am I gonna do? Go back into the realm and apologize? That looks even dumber when I do that. Plus, nobody gets the dungeon either way. our third stat potion of vitality. I didn't pick up the speed from the start, but I guess I should pick up all the potions since there's going to be so few of them. We can look and see. Maybe we'll have 6 of them by the end. We've had 1 per 20 minutes at this point. How much damage can they do to me? It went down to 26 there. So quite a lot, basically. We've got 40 seconds before we go open the treasure chest in the main room. Then maybe I can just find a new snake pit, because why not at this point? Clearly this one's unlucky, or the drop is really rare, like I said it was. I did think it was going to be super rare, but I was kind of hoping I'd just get lucky and actually get it in a reasonable amount of time. I guess I could go into the invasion before doing another snake pit, just for a little bit of variety. Plus, you can get the little mini snakes that drop the memory 1 from the snake pits. The invasions. Oh, a superior mystery skin. I deserve this. Hey, that's something. Mountain Climber Trickster. That is a pretty good skin, and I don't think I have it. I've been in here for an hour, though. Am I really that lucky? Maybe it's a secret with event chest. If you just sit there and leave them alive for an hour, they're guaranteed to have good rates. Go ahead, sit in a snake pit for an hour, and then fight the chest, and prove me wrong. Do it. Go ahead. I dare you. There's 2 more snake invasions. I'm gonna go into one this time so you can see what it's like. Wow, it's Haunted Cemetery. There's some special dialogue too, though, which is fun. So as you can see, there's snakes. And there's a big snake. The big snake I'm going to leave alive until I defeat the main boss, because you can't take it out until you've taken out the main boss. And oops, I'm a sorcerer, so I took it out. And it's the red one. The red one's actually incredibly dangerous and can kill me, so I'm in trouble now. There is a little Easter egg. If you leave a wave alive for long enough, I'll do it with this wave since this is the last wave anyways, pretty much. You get a funny bit of dialogue from Scold if you're bad at the game. Let's see it. There it is. Struggling to clear all these snakes? Well, I can't help you now. You said you were ready. I am ready. I'm just silenced because I brought Dusky Catalyst for some reason. I gotta drink lots of snake oil to stay alive. Okay, that's good enough. I'll just do this now. This is a little bit different since you don't fight the Ghost of Scold. It's just gonna be, we'll see in a second. You get the 2 zombie hulks like the normal Scold fight, but also 4 of the giant snakes, and you're guaranteed one of each of the they almost killed me there. And when you get guaranteed one of each of the 4 types, like there's that stupid red one. Of course, I unlocked that one first. So those are the 4 snakes. None of them matter except for the red one. Anyway, that's the dungeon done. We didn't get the Serpentine Memory Orb. This one can also drop Serpentine Memory Orb too, but fortunately, I already have Serpentine Memory Orb too. Let's clear this out again and then not attack the chest again, because that's the meta apparently. I almost want to try and get killed by the white snakes, but this is my main sorcerer and I'd rather not lose it. Because I gotta get to 5k or 100,000 fame eventually. My last main sorcerer died at like 98,000 fame. That's when I had the red glow at the start of 2023, I think it was. This was the sorcerer I made after that, so it's a 2-year-old sorcerer. Well, more than 2 years, because I make so many characters in advance. I get tons of character slots that I never use since seasonality happens. Well, I do use them, but then I stop after a month. There's a snake invasion again. And pretty much every season they give you 1 or 2 character slots. I fill those with 1 or 2 seasonal characters. And then after the season ends, I never play those 1 or 2 characters again. And then before that, I filled like 10 slots with sorcerers just to have backup sorcerers in case I died. But that was also around the time I stopped dying because I stopped doing content that can reasonably kill you and just started farming sprite worlds for events and stuff. So I have 13 sorcerers that I never play on. Because after Exalting Sorcerer, there isn't even any reason to play it since I gotta exalt the other classes to get the exaltation bonuses. Then after that, I might not even play Sorcerer. I might start playing Summoner instead because I don't know, I'm bored of Sorcerer. Actually, I don't think you could ever get bored of Sorcerer. Look at this. There's 2 more White Snake invasions just like that. Summoner couldn't do that. I also feel like there was something I was going to say, but I can't remember what it was. So I guess it'll just go unsaid. Maybe if I think about it while editing, I can do a voiceover. Ooh. I haven't done a voiceover in a while. There was the inner workings video where I had to dub over the whole thing because the audio was bad. And then the dubbed audio was also bad, but it wasn't as bad. I still don't know why that happened. I didn't change anything about my setup, but the audio was just horrible for that day, I guess. We'll go 2 hours, 15 minutes, and then I will have had 2 hours of farming Snake Pit. That's so much farming Snake Pit. Why did they do this to me? I'm gonna have to make a formal complaint to Deca. Why is it so rare? Why are you doing this to me? What have I ever done to wrong you besides complain about events like 10 times and nothing else? Those were reasonable critiques. I didn't even call half of them bad. I liked Vindication, Deca. Maybe I should have brought an Idaria rod, since that's good for clearing groups. Although I'm one-shotting everything anyway. I could have brought Honey Scepter. Honey Scepter Supreme, even. But I don't have that much foresight. I mean, I equipped a Dusky Catalyst for this because I like how it looks. I should have brought a second Clover to bring into this one. Maybe even a Golden Clover, because that lasts a whole hour, and I'm probably going to be here for a whole hour, considering how things are going. Of course, it is just one drop, so this whole adventure could end instantly in one moment. And not by death, though I could probably die if I tried hard enough. Oh, I changed maps. I can look at what we're up to now. 751. So that was 80 Divine Snake Oils that I drank. So I could actually probably get 1,000. There's a Divine Snake dungeon. These names are so hard to get right. You got White Snake Invasion. You've got Serpentine Memory Orb. You've got Yellow Serpent. You've got Divine Snake Oil. You've got... Nothing else is divine about this event. I guess the coins are divine. They're divine coins. Did I count this White Snake Invasion? I don't even know. Does it even matter anymore? The counter's not going to be accurate anyways. It's almost certain that I missed numerous White Snake invasions because they dropped off screen, and I'm not looking at the mini-map trying to find every single one that drops. I don't think the encounter needs to be taken seriously if I even do it. Like, this is gonna be more footage than most of my other casual sit down and play a video game for a little while videos. And it's all nothing. None of this footage is usable. It's snakes. I'm tired of these snakes in my video. There's a White Snake invasion. There's another White Snake invasion. Can I get a triple? I got the triple! I can't have them all on screen at once, but there are 3 of them. There's another potion. It's a speed potion. I've got attack, speed, wisdom, whoops, vitality, defense, dexterity. So there's probably no life and mana, meaning I've gotten all 6 rainbow potions just from these snakes. Although half of those were in the Snake Invasion 1 dungeon. So does that really count? Okay, after searching my records for confirmation, I couldn't even find the confirmation. So now I'm starting to doubt that it even drops and that I've just been going on a wild goose chase this whole time. Which would be bad. I don't want this to be for actually nothing. I mean, it was already for basically nothing. There's another White Snake Invasion 1. Oh, and there's the server restart. That's fun. Not a big deal since I've already pretty much done a full hour of this snake pit. Let's go break that reward chest. No, I didn't even have anything good in it. I didn't get a second skin. Okay, let's find a Snake Invasion 1 then. And run that. Maybe it'll drop the Serpentine Memory Orb and the whole thing will be over. And then we'll go to a different server and farm more. Because I got nothing going on. Hello, Scold. I'm not ready. But I'll say it anyway. Oh, they didn't drop it. So I'm just gonna assume it does drop from Snake Pit and go back to being miserable. I'm not even gonna bother leaving the chest alive this time. I'm just gonna get it. I'm completely broken after 2 hours of Snake Pit. I broke the chest immediately and it didn't drop anything. I should have saved it. It would have dropped stuff if I saved it. What potions drunk are we up to? 912, so less than 100 to the potion sage fame bonus. There's another potion drop. That's our 5th one from the snake pits. So it's about 1 per 30 minutes at this point, not even 1 per 20 minutes anymore. Oh, well, there's another one. So we're back to about 1 per 20 minutes since we just got 2 in a very short amount of time. Snake Invasion 1, Snake Invasion 1, Snake Invasion 1. There's another potion. I stopped counting how long we've been inside this dungeon, though. There's a Snake Invasion 1 as well. Okay, so we got some good news. It does drop. So this hasn't been for nothing. It's just been for nothing because I haven't gotten it. And there's another potion. I can't be picking these up anymore. There's too many of them. Snake Invasion 1. 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 You know, it takes a lot to break me, but spending an hour each in 3 separate snake pits trying to get a drop that has no gameplay purpose and is just for lore, then not even getting that drop is a lot. So I think I can't do this anymore. I did get Potion Sage though after leaving that 3rd snake pit. Okay, I took a 15-minute break, so basically I can go for another 3 hours. There's a defense potion, so we've had all 6 potions drop. There's also a White Snake Invasion 1. White Snake Invasion 1. I'm forgetting what it's called, it's been so long. Well, apparently the week 2 event started just now. Well, that's no good. If I leave this dungeon then, it's over. You know, I mean, server reset did already happen in this server, so I could just stay in the snake pit forever. But I don't want to go for another 20 hours, so maybe not. I'll go for the rest of this hour and then I'll give up because it's not that important that I get it. Okay, that's 1 hour in this snake pit. Still haven't gotten it, of course, so I think the event is over. Apparently for Snake Pit, we moved on to the week 2 events. No scan, so we peaked after the first Snake Pit. The rest of it was just nothing. Okay, a good gambler knows when it's time to quit, and that time was 3 hours ago, but now works too. I'm gonna quit now. Okay, never mind actually. I did the final tally for the Snake Invasion 1 drops, and we're at 299, so we're farming one more. The event is Sprite World now. Maybe we'll even get the orb while we're farming this, though I'm not gonna pressure for it. Because I don't want to go to 301 Snake Invasion 1 drops, because then I'll have to farm all the way to 400, and I don't have the time for that. The video's got to go out today. Okay, there it is. I'm going to run it as well. Okay, I ran out of non-big snakes to take out, and I have kinda confirmed that the big snakes don't drop orb 1, so it's over, essentially. Okay, so I'm just out here farming the snakes in the realm for tokens. I just got the shiny pet skin, and I still can't get a Serpentine Memory Orb 1!